Mashiane Politically Incorrect, breaking news. She has left. So people don't know who Ponani is. So you remember the podcast that I did where Penny was welcoming 1,500 people into MK in Guyana, Limpopo. That's Mkaya, so she's been working together. For those who can't remember Ponani is, do you remember there was a video of old where she was living? She, I don't know how to use a proper weight because I don't want to get into trouble with Balapi Bendabu. She took a chicken at the river, she decapitated it, and I don't know if she threw, but it was a ritual in. And I remember in social media, people were fighting over it. How is she so ruthless? But it's an African culture. Malema speaks about such when he says he was insinuating Barkman Chirwa, Naledi Chirwa, who has links with Malawi, and she also has links with Malawian fugitive Pastor Bushiri, who's saying she thanks Bushiri for taking her to parliament, but Malema says it's not Bushiri who take you to parliament, it's us, so that we can even remove you to show that it's not Bushiri. But going to parliament, Malema was, of course, spoke about how Balegambete had to do ceremonies just to welcome, just to encourage the courts, because she was promised to go to the presidency when she was leaving the parliament. So these rituals that we do, it's not something strange. You see people wearing spandla. More Nguni people would wear spandla than most of us who are not Nguni. I'm not saying we're not wearing, but I'm just giving examples that the rituals is what we do. So this is why she was protected on social media when she was doing that. But breaking news, she has resigned. She has resigned. So what we're going to get is, let me see if I can get her. And then from what we're going to have from her, we will we will talk. Let's see if we get her. Ponani Makhubele.
Yes, how are you, my brother?
I'm okay. Should I say Commander Morning?
No. Miss Makhubele, Ponani, it's fine.
We are no longer Commander Morning.
I'm not mourning.
Okay. I'm happy. I'm happy you are smiling. You are wearing a smile under difficult circumstances.
You know, I'm a very strong woman, Shem.
Yeah.
I take time to decide, and once I decide, I am happy.
Speaking about that specifically, the last few weeks has not been kind to you. You have not been well, and you spoke about.
I have not been well. Yes, I have not been well. It has not been easy. It's like I actually been going through a lot of emotional stress due to politics and my association with the party for the past, actually from the beginning of March, if I have to put it correctly.
Ish. So what broke the camel's back? What made you give up? You are a politician yourself. I mean, you did not come to MK wet behind your ears. You've got good credentials. I mean, you've been around. What made you give up to MK?
Hey, you know what happened? Let me say, Guru, when I joined the party, when I took a decision to leave the ANC, you remember I've been in the ANC for more than 20 years. Meaning that I've spent almost all my life in the ANC. I've been in the ANC active before I even became a mother. Now I've got children who are at facility, so you'll understand.
Yeah.
Now, so when I left the ANC because I felt that things were not fine, not specifically because of anything of my personal interest, but specifically because I felt we were deviating from the agenda of the masses, which was mainly on mass building organization. But then I took a decision that I'm saying I'm going to join MK Party. The reason why I joined MK Party was because I felt that personally, politically, organizationally, MK policies are not very, the existence of MKP is not like very far from what represent people in the country. But then after that, I waited for some time. I was appointed later to them. I want to put it that I was not recruited to the MK Party. I actually joined. I just spoke to a few people who were already active there to check out, do I join, how do I get a membership, those kind of things. And then that's how it went. No one came to me and said, when I was recruiting me to the party, I'm the one who decided to say I want to join the party. And then fast forward, just to make it short, after my joining, I participated. I went across the province and recruited membership, which you already, like I'm sure you've seen it. I recruited membership. I went around the province to work. But even before I got appointed as a deputy organizer of the province, I was already facing serious challenges. Where I want to specifically say, if you remember, I was also part of those who organized the event that President Zuma addressed Akangore at the one of Papa Penny.
Yes.
But after that, I think it didn't sit well with some of the people in the party. They felt that I was new, and me being new, it meant that I was not supposed to be actually organizing anything. And my organizing was based on that. I wanted to utilize the experience and the skills that I got from the ANC. I didn't want it to go to waste. So it had no any motive behind what I was doing. Fine. From the day whereby we had this the event of the president, the problems started to rise, whereby even as I speak to you, it took from the day of the event at Nkore to until my appointment as the deputy organizer on the 23rd of January 2025. I've never spoken to Papa Penny. Actually blocked me. He started spreading this issue. I'm a spy. I'm a spy in the party. I'm sent in the party. But then I took it light because remember I just said maybe he's threatened by my existence. But then I addressed this matter with the SG Floyd Knew. I told him that I'm not happy with the way I'm treated in the MK, and then he said to me he was going to speak to Papa Payne. I believe that he spoke because he never came back to me, but I took it that he spoke. And then after I was appointed as a deputy organizer of the province, we worked for the first 2 weeks. Everything was fine. I was among those who were going around the regions, the videos in the social media to prove that I worked. I was committed and I was happy doing what I know, because what I love most is to interact with the ground. It's not to be in the office, running the office, is to be on the ground. Now, problems started when the provincial coordinator Maraga wanted to run all the offices of the party within the province. Whereby as a organizer I had no responsibility. They started treating me like I'm a PA of the organizer and the coordinator, if I may put it that way. Whereby I remember there were some SRC elections at Shumwezi, whereby I was told straight that when the organizer didn't tell me that I must do things, I must wait, I must only be active when the organizer give me a go ahead to work. And remember, I'm a deputy organizer. I know how things are done organizationally. It's not like we're going to any elective conferences. It's just us mobilizing. So since then, I started slowing down. I realized that it was tense. It became so tense to a level that at some point, I remember I wanted to resign. I sent my intention to resign to the employees of the National High Command in Limpopo, Mr. Ngege, Mr. Matlala, and Mama Matilda. That was before Comrade Nweti Bila joined the employees in Limpopo. I sent a message to them, but then none of them responded. Remember, this was around early March, if I must be honest with you, early March. They never responded, but then some of the things they expressed themselves, because it got to a point whereby we were supposed to recommend names of the regional structures of the province. And then I consolidated names because I was deployed to Mopane. I consolidated names for Mopane, and then while Mina was consolidating names, because the principle was that each and every person within the detachment will go to the region where they are deployed. So in the MK, you are province where we are coming from to your home province. So Mina was deployed to my home region, which is Mopane. But then we had the coordinator coming to Mopane to have her own name. So what she was doing, she was working like a person who is telling the members of the region, Mopane, against me, telling them that they shouldn't be working with me, shouldn't be doing this and disabled, because there was a power striking, which I didn't understand why we're having that power striking, because we're not going to any elective conference. So by Yana, she was already ahead, making sure that she marked the ground, while he now were there waiting for the organization. So it became a problem whereby I realized, Kuti, there's always a problem. Then we're supposed to go and work for the birthday of the president. I was sent to Mopane to go and identify a venue with the kids in Mopane. That's where the real problem started. I went there. I did everything that I was expected to do. After they realized that I've worked the ground, I've done everything. Now the coordinator came to Mopane and put me aside and started working as if Mina, I'm not there. So even when we had the by-elections in Makado, remember, as a deputy organizer, elections are part of the things that are part of your responsibility as an organizing office. I was never part of there, but then I realized that there is more that you are there as a deputy organizer, but you're not given an opportunity to operate to do your responsibilities. It's as if your position doesn't exist. You must fight for you to work and to do what it's expected of you. You must fight. Then I thought maybe because there was never an induction since we were appointed into the office, maybe things will change. But then it became worse when you find you can reach to the SG. Actually, all levels of communication are closed. So whatever that you must do, you must speak there. You must speak to the coordinator of your province. The coordinator will be the one who will pass your messages. So I realized that I can't operate in a situation like this, because I remember the issue of Khapani when we were preparing for the event of the birthday of the president in Khapani. I asked where the problem. I wanted to say, I want to know what is the budget that we are organizing this event with. But since you said I must camp in Khapani, I must understand what's doable and what's not doable. And then I was told that I'll get briefing when they brief the general membership who were working with me in the ground. Then that's where I realized there's a problem, because they wanted me to mobilize for the event while I'm a member of the detachment without an idea whether we're going to get a stage or not. And then we started having a differences when I said, why do they want to get a stage of 150,000 rand? So that's when the isolation get deeper. I was isolated, and then I said, no, it's fine. I kept quiet. And then I think 3 weeks ago, I received a letter from the provincial coordinator saying I must explain myself why I'm not attending meetings. And I asked her which meetings is she speaking about, because I've never received an invitation to any meeting. And even now, as I speak to you, I've never received an invitation to a meeting, because she could have simply used the same way, the same method, where she sent me an email or a WhatsApp message to say there's a meeting in, and then I started exiting all the WhatsApp groups of MK, because there were serious groupings among the members of the MK, whereby she will replace me with ordinary members of the organization. Things that are supposed to be done by me in an area where I am deployed, they will be done by
Hello, Puna. Let's try to get her back again. Let's try. Apologies. Ish. Gonna have a bit of a problem. Let's see.
Hello. I think it's my network or your network, but my name is set in one place.
Yeah, no, I think we're all battling, but hopefully let's see if it works better.
Yeah, I can just continue, Mos.
Yes, please continue.
So the isolation really put me under a lot of stress because I felt like maybe since Penny has been going around spreading that Mina I'm a spy of the ANC, rather I resigned because you can't work with people who doesn't trust you. And he knew for a fact that I'm not a spy. The only thing that is happening is that he probably wanted me to behave as if Yena is the one who is a leader. Mina, I'm a deployee to a sphere of government. So I'm one person. I'm submissive to the party and the organization. I'm not submissive to individuals. That is probably my weakness, especially when you do things that I know that they're not correct. I will not agree with you. So mainly my problem is that I've raised these things with the leaders, internal with the leaders. None of them has responded. At least Comrade Moti Bila tried to say, Ponani, let's do this and let's do this. And I said no. Sometimes you get a message at 9 o'clock in the night and say, let's attend an urgent meeting of the of a detachment 9 o'clock while there's no emergency. And imagine they don't even want to know where you are. And then the last message I got from the coordinator was, I think it's 4 days ago, she just sent a message and say on WhatsApp and say, give us the name of your voting station. Imagine, I don't even know what the name of the voting station is needed. If you respect the person, you'll say to me, Comrade Ponani, they were requested to submit this and this and this. I need to know she's a custodian of the information. Can I have this information? So they just say to you, give us. So you submit. You don't even know what that is needed for. So it was more like the organization, the party is led by just one person who feel she is everything and she can do everything the way and she wanted. All of us that they don't exist. I want to be honest with you. It got to a point whereby I remember from the fundraising committee they asked, there's this and this and this happening. They want to know who did this in terms of fundraising, because for now, as the fundraising committee, they are not even aware of it. So I don't want to get deep into those things. That's why even in my letter I said I don't want to get much. It's political and organizational. So I thought like fine. When I left the ANC, I was leaving for the ANC because I wanted to continue being active in the politics of the country. But I realized that I took a wrong move because even if you've got a grievance to talk about as a leader, there is no one who's going to assist you, and it's more, everything is just done factionally. It's about the main pain. It's when you find your own coordinator mobilizing people that you are coming from the same region with you to work against you. So I realized that if they're mobilizing people, fortunately those people understood and they've never went to do anything. They were just concerned. They'll keep on calling me, Comrade Ponani, we are aware of this and this that is happening. Please don't give up. We understand you are a leader. Some of us, we came here because of you. So then I realized that most people now are coming to me to say, Ponani, we want to come to MK. How do we do that? As I'm talking to you, and I realized that if I don't inform the general public that I have resigned, the people will think that now I'm two-faced. So it's better that I inform the general public that I've resigned. I'm no longer a member of the MKP. So if they want assistance or information in terms of how to join MKP, they must go to the provincial coordinator or other people, because I've never been given a space for me to operate as a member of the provincial detachment. And being accused of being a spy is something that I even told Comrade Floyd last year, December. I remember very well. I informed him, I'm accused this and this by Penny, and it hurts me. He was not speaking to me since the day we had the event there from his place. He stopped speaking to me since that day. The other time we spoke again, it was when we were at Malamulele, when we were having a regional visit as a detachment. That was after my appointment as a member of the provincial detachment. So there was some serious internal power squabble, which I didn't understand, because we're not preparing for elective conference, but people are already ahead of what they're planning for. And that moment, Mina just wanted to work for the party. So I was denied an opportunity to be a member and also an opportunity to be a leader. There are lots of things whereby I was humiliated inside the provincial detachment meeting in front of the of the National High Command leadership. I don't want to lie to you, my brother. That day broke me. I went for an operation, and then we're called to say there's a meeting with the National High Command members. I drove. I was released from an operation today, and the very same day I had to go to the meeting because they wanted something. When I got to that meeting, I was embarrassed, whereby, let me not speak of it. It's something that, when maybe you are a leader and then you buy tomatoes for your fellow comrade and you get to a meeting and speak about it. This one cannot say anything because we're even the one who buy tomatoes when she doesn't have tomatoes. That's those kind of things. And that was done by the coordinator. I didn't understand that when maybe, for example, you speak to her as a woman, she help you. Maybe if you need a lillet, she give you a lillet. She wanted to manage me because I can never be managed. I mean, there are people who have done lots for me. For example, the ANC have done much for me, but when it comes time for me to speak for things that I don't agree with, I will always speak and say I don't agree with this. So with her, it was more like she believed in managing people, even if whatever she does for you, it's management, which I am not comfortable with. So somehow I was emotionally abused and taken advantage of by the collective. But then mainly she is running all the offices. The coordinator ran the financing office. The coordinator ran the organizing office. They even write, you go to a meeting, you find a report being read to you. They say it's a report of organizing. You are just the organizer. And you are not even aware where the report is coming from. They will only give it to the organizer to say, read the report, and the organizer doesn't also see anything wrong with their working away from, like, excluding me and doing everything for the office of organizing with the coordinator. So I felt it doesn't worth it anyway. It doesn't worth it. I rather take a break from MK in where I'll never go back to the MK, and review my decision. And I took a decision to say, let me resign with immediate effect. I have not been active for some time. If you check even on my social media, I changed my profiles, I changed everything, and I said no. The what I face in the party, I've spent more than 20 years in the ANC. I've never seen such disorganized and manipulative leadership ever since I was born. The things that are happening there are not something that someone who knows politics can tolerate. It can only be those who are starting to participate in politics for the first time in the MK. They can allow it to happen. I'm not saying the MK, the provincial coordinator, is the main reason why I'm leaving.
You come with lots of experience. Like I said when we started, you said you were not recruited by someone. So in essence, we were thinking it's Papa Penny who recruited you. So you are saying it's not Papa Penny, but you are also saying the person who made you give up, even though Papa Penny was one of those who said you were a spy. The person who made you give up is the coordinator.
Let me tell you something, my brother. A week ago, I saw something in there. They're saying there was an event happening in Gianni to be addressed by Papa Penny. You remember? And I'm like, I was not even aware of that event. And comrades were asking me, Ponani, why are you speaking of something else? Why, while you're from Gangar? But I'm not even aware that there's an event. So it was like, let me tell you, I want to be honest with you, which I feel even the leadership of the party must pay attention to. Remember, the power struggles, you've got the former PIC, the former provincial leadership, which does not recognize the detachment. Remember, I'm sure you're aware of that name. And also themselves, they complain that Papa Penny, since he was deployed to parliament, he is undermining everybody and wanting to be the MK himself in the province. You understand?
I don't understand.
Like, if you check, you'll have sometimes we have double events. There was a time Zuma came in Limpopo, and when she came, she was there ushered by the removed provincial leadership. She was not ushered by the leadership that I was part of the collective. She's actually working with the leadership that was removed, about Jack Lulami.
So you're saying you are appointed with the new current detachment appointed by Floyd that we know in the media. The previous one where people are called parallel structures. So those ones are the ones that welcome to Duzile in Limpopo. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that the ones who welcomed here in Limpopo.
Okay, and you.
And then why I'm bringing that. I'm bringing that to show how things in Limpopo are not. If you take, if there's a challenge in Mpumalanga, Gauteng, KZN, those challenges will be urgently attended by the national leadership. But in Limpopo or other provinces, they take time. Like Limpopo, there's been parallel structures for some time. It's known, it's all over. I'm not the one just bringing it up. It has been known that the reason why now I'm speaking about that is because if you check, Papa Penny has been in the center of fighting with the former leadership about Jackie Lamile. Remember? He's been in the center of fighting with the former leadership about Yabalu Lamile. And now, when this leadership of ours came, I know that he didn't want me to be part of the leadership. He had his own list. So now, it comes a challenge whereby you have one person who is always in the center of all these problems in the province. Then you must ask yourself why. Maybe it's because of his close association with the president, as if I may put that. Then now you come to the process coordinator who is coming from the EFF. So I'm not coming from the EFF. So it means that because I don't have a close relationship with the president, I'm also not coming from the EFF. Even if I raise issues, there is no one who's going to pay attention. But I don't even have a problem with how the party is ran. My problem is when you appoint people and fail to guide when they need your guidance in order for them to execute their responsibilities. You have a coordinator coming to even your own ward, having your own people in your own ward. When you want information, you are there as a district organizer, must be having all this information for Guyana things, but then
hold it there, and don't hang up. No, hold it there. I just want to fix something. Just hold it. I'll come back. Just hold it. Ne? Don't hang up.
In media, there's this event in Guyana, and then if you take it, the coordinator is all over. When it's time for her, I need to, as a coordinator or as a secretary, when there's an event, you are the one who is supposed to deploy your colleagues to go and work. So everywhere she wants to be the one. Ignati, you are in the same party but with different agendas, if I may put it that way. For example, now I'm just as I'm speaking to you now, people have seen in media that I've resigned, and they're saying to me they're in Guyana now for a meeting of Bembe and Mopani, and they say it's in full capacity. I'm asking which meeting, because I'm not even aware. Though I just resigned, it means I would have known before. So they say it's convened by the former leadership of the province, Yabo Jack Lamid, and they say it's fully capacited. This thing, are things that they could have been attended. So because even when there are problems, things are not attended, you'll just see everybody doing things the way they want. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying, my resignation, my brother, it's actually fully informed by lack of leadership from those who are supposed to. Let me speak about the national deployees to Limpopo. I'm not saying that I'm well clarified when it comes to politics. It becomes difficult because you see people who have not been active in politics of the country being the one who are today leading you. And when they're leading you, when you question things organizational, they feel offended. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They feel offended because, like, all the people, most of the people who are deployed, actually, let me say, all the people apart from Comrade Matilda who are deployed in Limpopo are people who have never been actively members of of any political party. Most of them were in governance, and people who have been probably suspended, fired from, those kind of things. Yeah. So you end up not knowing because they will be siding with the bad activities that are done by the coordinator, and then we ask ourselves, why are they protecting her? So even if the coordinator does something wrong, they will just say they support what the coordinator is doing. I remember at some point the deputy coordinator saw something and asked, I was still going to go get this invitation, and then who is a member of the National High Command, You ask, why are you now interested? Because sometimes you don't ask questions. And then when you ask a question in a formal, in our WhatsApp platform where it's only the detachment and the deployees, then you'll have one member of the detachment calling other members to say, please don't entertain what Ponani is asking. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm speaking facts here. If I ask, I want to understand, for example, we must go to, we're supposed to go to Makado for elections, right?
Yeah.
Then we told you that we are supposed to go to Makado for elections and be there for at least 2 months. And then I ask, fine, let's be practical, honest there. How are we expected to be driving from Guyana to Makado every morning while you don't have any means? Maybe there's no one who's telling you how you must get there.
So before you go further, the detachment that you are in, so this is the current leadership announced by Floyd. Who earned money? How many are you in? Did you get stipend? Because I know there are others who are getting stipend. They are even fighting that they accuse Floyd that he wants to reduce that money. Because I see there were some financial expectations coming from yourselves, like deployed for 2 months. Are they giving you money? So that's why they expect that for you to buy a stage. I don't know if you said it's 150 in Khapane.
Because that's when it was something that the fundraisers were supposed to fundraise, and from what I heard, they even thought about it because apparently there's people, members of the organization, had to go and get money to make sure that the stage works at Khapane, but then the coordinator had already been given 200,000 by one businessman that I can mention, but he didn't disclose to the collective. It's not an issue. I'm not even concerned about that. Actually, for the money things, I've never been there. That's why even if you check my name, you'll never find me being part of someone like Ponani Makhubele. When she was the chairperson of the municipality public accounts, she took this, she did that. I'm not there. I don't even want to speak that. I want to speak direct on the issues of stipend. Ever since I got into office in January, I've never received a stipend, which is not a problem. I've never received a stipend. So even if I am to go to a meeting, I would have to make sure that I find ways of getting to the meeting. There's no day I've ever received a stipend.
Who was getting payment, remuneration for being an office bearer in Limpopo? How many
no
people?
One. Okay, fine. Let me not say anyone. I don't know, but Mina, I've never done. I never did.
But for the work that you were doing, are you claiming monies? Like, for example, being deployed in Makado from Guyana, it's a long way. So you would need to either find a BNB or...
No, we're not claiming. Okay, fine. Let me speak about me. I was never told to claim. I was never asked for any banking details to submit for me to go to work. And I want you to get me direct. I'm not talking about money. The reason why I'm mentioning this is
yes.
How did we get a phone? Because you're expected to drive to Makado every day. Remember, to go to Makado every day or to go and stay in Makado for a week or for 2 weeks, for 2 months. Where do you sleep in Makado? I don't have relatives in Makado. And how do I drive to Makado? If it's a meeting of the detachment for 1 day, it's not a problem. I can go there using my own money. It's not a problem. But in a situation whereby you must be traveling every day, how do you reach the border?
Yes.
I'm not sure if you understand what I'm trying to say.
I fully understand you. How
do you reach the point? How do you reach the point? And at that moment, there are individuals within the detachment who are going around getting support from people that they know, from business people that they know.
So who pays for all this kind of logistics all over the provinces?
I don't know, and I really don't want to talk about that. As I'm saying, there's even a point whereby there was a question by the fundraiser himself in a formal meeting asking, in a formal group asking, there were some things that he and I didn't authorize, but that those things went ahead. So there are lots of things, but the point that I need you to note here is that there are lots of wrong things that are done. Maybe let me just say this while I'm still living on this platform, brother.
Sure.
You see, to start with, when you appoint people, to start with, you give them induction, right?
Yes.
It's in the induction where people will understand their roles. I might know because they say Ponani has experience. She doesn't need induction. I'm just giving a practical example, right?
Yeah.
But then there are people who have not been politically active in that detachment who have just started picking interest in politics after the formation of MK, and they're there in the detachment who feel good. If you are a deputy, it means you don't have a role. Your role is to support the. If you are a deputy convener, maybe your role is support the convener. If you are a deputy coordinator, your role is to support the coordinator. If you are a deputy organizer, your role is to support the organizer. You understand? Not an office work to support a person.
I know in Limpopo, and I want you to correct me, and I thought it was the old man who went to provincial legislature immediately after the elections, because I believe you got one seat in legislature. Is it true?
What?
In the provincial legislature, MK party has one seat.
Yes.
Is it not? Is it who's the incumbent there? Who's leading?
It's Jack Makala. Is a former MK soldier. He was a convener of MKP in Limpopo before the appointment of the detachment.
That's true. So this is consistent.
This is the same person who welcomed Ududuzile when she went to the program was organized by Bona.
Yes. So this is exactly what I wanted to understand, because this is he who we know even before elections. He was holding the fort. And then, of course, a new detachment came, of which we understand the problem had always been, and even if I check in all places, the problem has always been that I hope you remember Polokwane, because you were closer to Polokwane. When we came back from Polokwane, I say when we, because the whole of South Africa, there was something very topical. It was called 2 centers of power. That was to say the Zuma people were not happy with Zuma being political head, Mbeki being head of government, and they said they want to replace him because they did not like 2 centers of power. I'm bringing this up because when I engage comrades on the floor, they complain a lot about people. If once you go to legislature, then you are denied an opportunity to lead. And there are many examples, all provinces, this is happening. So I find it disingenuous that the champions of those who won Polokwane, they spoke about 2 centers of power. When it came to MK, and this is why they call it the Floyd Shibambu Constitution, and I don't want to mix you in that. I just want to understand that, is it part of the problem that you have felt that those who were leading originally, they were made to choose from being political heads on political leadership, or be deployed to government in legislatures and in parliament currently, because it's coming in 2016, where if you go to the council, if you go to municipality, you are going to relinquish your position because you are on the ground with them. Do you hear it? Because I hear it myself. Do you hear the frustration of these 2 centers of power?
Okay, let me indicate that when I accepted the position, I will speak about me first. When I accepted the position as a provincial deputy organizer, I already knew that it meant that I would not be deployed to any sphere of governance, and I was comfortable with that because I accepted. Remember, if I wanted to be deployed somewhere, I would have simply said no. You understand? I would say no, I'm not comfortable here. Leave me so that I can go and contest somewhere else. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So in terms of, I think the understanding of MK is that they are wanting a situation whereby people who are deployed as leadership of the party are fully focused on building the party, because if you are both sides, you might not have time to pay attention. That's my understanding. I was not there when the constitution was drafted and adopted, but I don't want to speak much based on that. The only problem becomes where you find the problem is like the problem that we're having in Limpopo, it's almost the same problem that we're having in, where is this place in Mpumalanga, where you have Osmeri being there and mobilizing on the one side, the other one on the other side. At least in Mpumalanga, the matters there are attended. Here in Limpopo, even as I speak to you now, as I'm speaking to you, I'm receiving messages from people who are saying that here in Limpopo, they're being addressed by the former provincial leadership. I mean, I say former because in terms of the organization, they have appointed new leadership. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So these things are continuing instead of the problems getting resolved, which is not my issue. My issue is that it's how the provincial coordinator, a former provincial chairperson of AFF in Limpopo, it's micromanaging the party, going around wanting to be everyone and everything in the province, whereby the collective must hear by hear and what he says. But she can take a decision alone and say, this is why we are going. I remember one comrade within the collective raised it and say, we see this thing that is going out as a statement. Why is it like this? Because a statement is something that as a collective could have agreed with. These are our analysis of the province. So I can back up what I'm saying to you. The problem is the provincial coordinator and the interference of a pen in the politics of MK, the detachment, whereby he feels because of him being close to President Zuma, it means that he's got absolute power to decide what must happen. Honestly, Mina, I was never welcomed. The membership of MK welcomed me and they were happy with me. That's why majority of them, if I am to show, I can show to you how much messages they will be concerned. Ponan, why not here? Why this and this happening? We're no longer here. Things are not active. There are changes. The membership welcomed me and they were happy with me, but we've got the leadership, in particular the provincial coordinator and Pen, we have their own agenda, including Ligege, who is a member of the National High Command, who doesn't regard anyone as a leader, apart from him being there and working closely with the coordinator, doing the things that they do, which I might not disclose here. So for me,
who is this coordinator? Who is this coordinator that made you resign?
Is Maraga Chilizi Aniki, a former provincial chairperson of AFF in Limpopo.
Chilizi Maraga.
Yes.
Okay. So you come from the African National Congress.
I come from the African National Congress.
You were a member of parliament.
Yes, I was a member of parliament. Let me just give you my political profile.
Thank you.
I was my name is Ponani Makhubele, but I don't like the name Pichuni.
Later now we don't worry. We've got the same problems.
It's not there. My name is Ponani Makhubele.
Sure.
Born and bred in Guyana. I'm from Ward 12 in Guyana, Section A, Guyana Town, under Greater Guyana Municipality. I'm not going to speak about the branch positions that I've held, because I've held several branch positions as a chairperson of the branch of the ANC League, as a member of the branch executive committee of the ANC in Guyana, as a secretary of the YCL in Guyana. But then let me speak about the other roles. I started leading in a provincial level in 2005, where I was the provincial executive committee member of the Young Communist League in Limpopo and a member of the Provincial Working Committee. Then my provincial secretary of the YCL, it was comrade Soviet Lihanyan, who is among the people who can say, we know Ponani. I sent Ponani growing. Actually, when you saw me, I was still maybe wearing size 26. Now I'm wearing size 38.
Sure.
And then then from there, like I said, 2005, I was the member of the provincial executive committee of the Young Communist League, and then I also led in the provincial executive committee of the ANC Youth League in Limpopo. By the time when Malema got expelled, I was I was leading the province of the of the ANC Youth League when the leadership led by Comrade Zuma and the President Ramaphosa took a decision to dissolve the Youth League. They redeployed me to lead the Youth League in Limpopo and the process of in Mopani in the process of rebuilding, where I was a member of the regional task team. I also did in the sub-regional committee of the ANC in Limpopo in the year 2011. By the time I resigned then from the ANC, I was a branch deputy chairperson of my branch in Bongimabunda, 12 Giani Section A, and then in terms of governance, my experience, let me speak of government. I worked as a admin clerk in the Popo Department of Social Development, working at where's this place, Giani Sub-District. And then in terms of governance, I was a councillor in Greater Giani Municipality, a PR councillor, and the first chairperson of the municipality public accounts in Greater Giani, that is 2011. Also a PR district rep in Mopani district. Then I was representing the employer, which is the executive mayor in the labor forum of Mopani. Also a former board member in Kansani Hospital back in 2012. And also I worked with Comrade Banyaza Lusufi as his parliamentary rising office in 2017. I was working with Comrade Banyaza Lusufi as his parliamentary rising officer, and then I went to Parliament 2011 and 2021. Now now as I speak to you, I have just resigned. I joined MK in 2024 September, and today on the 18th of May 2025, I'm resigning from MK with immediate effect.
So I wanted to say, I've covered your profile in the last podcast that we did. Remember when we called you with Papa Pin? So I wanted to say there's a belief that yourselves, you are called names whenever you come to this political party. But with your story, when I'm listening to it, it's people that also came to the party with you. So this narrative of say abantu bokufika bagibela imoto ihamba abamafika izolo, this narrative does not hold truth here, because all of you came with political experience from other places. It's not the original members who are troubling you. Of course, I acknowledge that Comrade Jack, who are, as we speak now, they are convening a meeting between Vembe district and Mopani district, and this is your areas as you indicated. And I'm not absolving them of not wanting to let go of political office. It's very consistent with other provinces, by the way. Those who are leading the provinces politically are finding it difficult to gel with those who are deployed in legislature. So this thing of saying, so you were not chased away, and your life was not made difficult by people who were original members, because both Jack, they did not.
Let me just clarify it. You have Elek Nguna, ne?
Yes.
Elek Nguna, who is a former organizer. I would say a former organizer of the province. He's actually coming from the ANC. He was a member of the regional working committee of the ANC before he left MK. So the likes of Bo Elek Nkuna and Bo John Ngobeni, the former provincial coordinator, are people who raised me in politics. I want you to understand why they would not give me problems or reject me, because they knew that I'm actually a political activist. So they never had, I can't say they had a problem with me, because they knew that I'm a political activist. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying.
I fully understand.
Raise me is like if you say, for example, you say, I want to give you a practical example. If you can want to go and say, Joshua Macron knows that he raised me in politics. Hassan Matale knew that they raised me in politics. So those people, even if I was to join another party and found them there, they will not have a problem with me, because they know me. You understand?
Yes.
They know me. But then the problem will be with people that you are appointed with because, for example, I found Penny in MK, so he felt good because I found him in MK. It meant that I'm supposed to report to him and account to him. Actually, the problem started when it's even fun. the problem the problem started when during the day there was an event at his place. Remember, I was part of those who organized that event. I remember I didn't sleep during the week of that event. Then now the former SG comrade Fiso called me when they were having lunch with President Zuma and say, come and greet the president. You know, he was just saying come because he saw how hard I was working, you understand? And he knows me. So when I went there, Penny, he didn't sit well with Penny. He felt good. I should not have greeted the president unless he himself took me to the president. Then that's when he started coming up with the story about him. I'm getting the leadership, I'm doing this and this, and I'm a spy. I must not be trusted. And this matter that I'm raising with you, Comrade Floyd will say, he knows that I raised it with him. The same way I'm raising it with you today. And, you know, I thought that thing will end, you know. I thought it will end. It didn't end. I remember I went in that day. I went there with my kids. My youngest child is 8 years old, and because I was busy with preparing the event, she said in that other tent where there were VIPs, they went to remove my kids there. Remember, they direct Penny himself and other people that I don't want to mention. You know, it was bad. It was very bad. Yes. And this narrative, and you know, the kids, like Mama just left the ANC, now she's here. Well, also, you know, my kids told me, and I approached Comrade and said, no, and my kids were sitting with these kids for that matter. You understand? Yeah. So I took it light, and then it went on, like Ponani is leadership, Ponani is doing this simple because I greeted President Zuma. There was a picture of mine that was circulating in social media where I was with President Zuma at his place. And then that thing went viral, like how he was spreading but the issue, it was an issue of him feeling worried. I'm not supposed to move. I don't know how to put it, my brother. It's like,
so you went to Nkandla?
I never went to Uganda. I've never been to Uganda. I've never had a one-on-one with the president. The only time my scene was to greet him there.
Oh, at his place, you mean at Papa Penny's place?
At Papa Penny's place.
Oh, no, sorry, I confused
that. That was my scene. That was my scene. And I raised this with the SG in December because I was actually requested to assist on the events that the SG was hosting last December, and still that matter continued to make sure that I don't appear anywhere, I don't assist. So I had to explain to SG, I'm not part because this is what I'm avoiding, you understand? Yeah. So he said to me he was going to attend to, and people like this thing, I'm very close to the SG. I'm not close to the SG. Even as I speak to you, the last time I spoke to him, I think we last spoke one-on-one there at we didn't even speak. We just greeted the day we were appointed. Since then, me and SG, we don't speak. We don't have that relationship of speaking. The only time I can say me and I both come from the YCL and the Youth League. When I was in the while he was the national executive committee member of the YCL, I was in the province of the YCL. When he was in the national executive committee member of the ANC League, I was in the province of the Youth League. You understand? Yeah. So that's the only time I can say where we relate based on our political backgrounds. We come from the same pot, if I may put it that way. Yeah. We come from the same pot, but we don't have any close relationship whereby they can say, Ponani can call Floyd today and say, hey, how are you, Comrade Floyd? I know Michelle, no, we don't have that relationship, man. So now other people take advantage of what they led with him in the EFF, and then that gives them rights to can do, because they feel like, no, they've got the right contacts. They can do what they want in the province of Limpopo. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I sent a letter to them, to the head, to the convener of the place to Limpopo, and told him, Gora, I'm getting frustrated here. You saw how I was humiliated in a meeting. You were there. You did nothing. Actually, the convener of the place even called me toxic himself. He said I'm toxic when I was raising issue. The issue was that the coordinator wanted to be the one to recommend names of regional committees in Limpopo. So Mina, I must not have a say, but I'm part of the collective. I'm part of the collective. When I recommend the name, they say I'm recommending I'm mentioning names of people who are sellouts, and the reason why those people are called sellouts is because they are close to Jack Lulamile. So now you don't know who's actually a sellout, because they're all members. When those people, will see them going to Uganda, will see them participating in the activities of MK, so you no longer know what's happening. So in a short way, you are in the collective with people whom, when now you think you're all working to build the organization, but not they're working to build what their name, if I might put it that way, for one or two reasons.
So you spent 6 months crying, trying to explain to people who could listen internally, and you kept your peace, you kept your decorum, you were never, you can't be accused of ill discipline, of saying, yeah, she runs to the media. And
I can send you how the only person who will try and engage me is Comrade Bilangwe. I must be honest with you. That woman will try and engage me. Comrade Bilangwe, be strong. Like I said, no, I can't be strong because this thing affects me. At the end of the day, you find the coordinator in Limpopo. Let's be honest. Floyd is the SG from Limpopo, but you won't find him all over Limpopo, right?
Yeah.
He running events of the MK. You understand that there are people who are deployed to Limpopo.
Yeah.
So for example, if Floyd will come to Limpopo and run the province, then it means now you are deployed to run the province. You don't have capacity to run the province. So even if the coordinator will come to Mopane and other regions wanting, even yesterday she was in Tabazimbi, she was with Liga in Tabazimbi, she's all over, she's the one running the show. So it means all of you don't have responsibility. Remember, let me be honest with you, the responsibility of organizing office is to make sure that they deal with membership organizing. You deal with membership, right?
Yeah.
You deal with membership, preparation of events before, for example, if tomorrow we are going to Bembe, the organizing office should go to Bembe a day before to make sure that when the collective come, everything is in order. You understand?
True.
But in the MK, that's not how it's done. Not in the MK, in Limpopo.
Yes. So
in Limpopo, that's not how it's done. When you deal with elections, remember also elections is part of the office of organizing.
Yes.
Then you have the coordinator. She wanted to be everything. When I don't know how to put it. Like, she wants to be everything. Like, you when you get there, you're not even sure what should be your role. When you get there, you just sit there and watch. And when she wants, there are people that she likes so much, and I'm not gonna mention their names here. You'll have one man running around the entire province with her. He's just an ordinary member of the branch in Guyana. That is another one that is just an ordinary member of the branch in Guyana, who will be running around with her, making sure the role that is supposed to be done. As a digital organizer, I will say, organizer, let's ask people to send us their programs so that we can send the programs to the coordinator. And that person, that man that I'm talking about, you will be the one to be telling people you are not attending things that are going to be addressed by Ponani or organized events that you know that thing.
Ish.
It's painful.
Yeah.
I had no one. At some point, I wrote to the PA of the president wanting to see the president. I wanted to cry to him to say, I believe that the president has the best intelligence. Remember, he was head of intelligence.
Yeah.
So if I am truly a spy, why don't you use your intelligence to check me?
Ish. So
and remember, if a person is accused of being a spy, because I raised this matter with Comrade Floyd before I was even appointed as an organizer, you as an organization, you've got a responsibility to set that person free and tell the very same people who are accused. There's nothing as painful as being accused as a spy. You go around, people that you are leading, they don't trust you.
So Ponani, hile maka inhlamarisayo. Where Floyd Papa Penny, I love to meet the swingwe, but Mitire around the same era of the powerful ANC in the same region. Ya Mopani, ne?
Just to clarify you, I remember when Papa Penny came to politics of the ANC, I think it was 2012. 2011, no, we're going to the local government elections of 2011. Then I was in the regional executive committee of the ANC League. Even then, I remember I'm among the few young people then who drove to his area, who were even assisting him with the mobilization of the branch, because when he was recruited to the ANC then in 2011, it was a matter of saying the then leadership, when they were both Comrade Natal and Comrade Joshua, they wanted someone powerful, because a member, someone who was powerful there as a ward councillor, had just joined the DA.
Oh.
So we wanted someone very well known. Remember then the ANC then had serious influence in the politics of the ANC.
Yes.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
He came in as a counter.
He came in as a counter. I was among the people who went to his house. I was with who visited his house with all the likes of Homkata Shumange, the likes of Comrade Setukaloi, there. You understand? I just want to clarify that it shouldn't be counted as if maybe I'm refusing to take directives from my seniors. I respect him as a deployee of the party, as a member of parliament. He deserves to be respected, but he doesn't know his space as to how to operate. You know, you can't have a leader who is a deployee, but at the same time behaving as if he's not a deployee, wanting to dictate affairs of the detachment in Limpopo. So apparently, you know, don't want to go deep on the matters, but it's important for the public to understand that, Mina, I don't have a problem with President Zuma, for that matter. But people need to understand there's one different thing about me. Ever since I was born, I've never went to court to support any person and say, I'm going to court to say hands off to someone. You understand me?
Yeah.
I'm one person who is always dealing in matters of principle. You understand me? I've never been to court to say, I'm going to court because probably as Mahashule is in court, I'm going to say hands off. President Zuma is in court, I'm going to hands off. Mang is going to court, I'm going to say hands off. The only time I marched for a person, it's when Malima was refused to. The time there was an instruction to say Malima must never come to them in 5 meters or 5 whatever, I remember then, of the organization then of the ANC. That was before he was finally expelled.
Yeah.
And then I asked the Congress of the Youth League, I think it was 2012, I asked the Congress Youth League during the Provincial Congress of the Youth League in Limpopo, and say, then it was addressed by the lady, former SG, Comrade Cindy Soma Kata, may he so continue to rest in peace. I said, if they say the president must not come here, it means the plenary must go to greet him at his home. That is the only time, and plenary agreed. Then we went to greet Malema there at his home. That was the only time I said I can say I must. Other than that, you will never find me in any hands off or supporting anything for courts, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who do that, but there will be people who will feel offended by me not wanting to join those kind of things with them. If I say I'm not going, they say I'm a sellout. That's me. I'm like that. The only time I will be in court is when I am fighting for injustices, which I know that I've got facts.
Yeah.
Not as a matter of hands off.
Okay. Ponan, what happened with your... was it ever a court challenge to contest your... Is it unlawful removal from parliament or unlawful removal from the list? Did you give up the fight? What happened?
That was in when was it? In 2019 list conferences. Then I was on the top of the list of Limpopo, and then somehow I was removed in. Then I went to court, and the reason why I want to clarify this, I went to court alone, not with anyone. I was not funded. It was you call it pro what?
Pro bono.
Pro pro bono.
Yeah.
It was pro bono by the leadership of the, not the leadership, by the Adams. I changed lawyers at first. The first lawyers that I used, we emerged victorious, that the ANC must restate me to the list, and then the ANC appealed. They lost the appeal. We continued fighting. They lost again. We continued fighting. They lost again, until the day I was taken back to Parliament. That was then. That was in 2019. That was a court case of 2019, and I want to repeat straight. I was alone, not attached with any other name. And even when I appeared in court, I was only me. It was only me and my lawyers, with no one supporting me. This I'm emphasizing just to show if you've got a case to win, you don't need support of people to show I've got numbers. It's not about numbers. It's about knowing what you are standing for. You are standing for justice. And recently I made a joke on Facebook and say, people who were saying Ponani has taken the ANC to court, blah, 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 Maraga from the ANC are the one who are now taking the ANC to court on a daily basis. I'm sure you've seen that in the regional conferences of Mopan.
Yes.
So that's of Mopan and you saw that.
Yeah.
So I laughed and say, if you said your own generation, also history will judge you, because the people, women who were going to court are my generation, people that I come from the same generation with. When I was in the peace of the youth league, there was a close brother of mine. He was the chairperson then, was the chairperson of the youth league. They were led together. So I'm just trying to show you, Gore. I've never been to court with the masses mobilizing people to say, go and support me. I'm not like that, because I'm not petty, I'm not petty. I fight for something that I understand. This is something that it's worthy to fight for. So people will feel offended if they say, go, hey, Barry, the leadership is around here, we must go and greet them and say, I'm not going. People say, no, when I send out, they're a spy. I'm not like that. That's my character. I believe in mobilizing the ground behind the banner of the organization, not behind an individual.
Okay, you are almost like the Orlando Pirates coach. You are resigning or you are leaving, but we don't know where you're going. Are you kind enough to tell us where are you going? Because you can't pretend the political animal in you has died. It's alive, Ponani. Where are you going?
I'm laughing. I never been so in peace. Actually, I don't regret. Let me indicate, I don't regret joining MK. I think, the universe wanted me to learn 1 or 2, 3 things.
Yeah.
The universe wanted me to learn 1 and 2, 3 things, that when there are challenges in your home, don't think next door there are better things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the frustrations that I've had in the MK party, I'm telling you, even the process of the court thing, I've never met things. Because even when I was going to court, I had all comrades of the ANC were still impressing me, supporting me, whichever way, seeing me as a comrade, you understand?
Yeah.
Just that because they thought they would be expelled.
Yeah.
But then they were fine. But with the experience that I have in the MK, my brother, I'm telling you, if I was to be asked where are you going, I'll never go to another new party. If I am to go to any party, I'm not gonna quit politics, and I want you to know this. I'm not gonna quit politics, and I'll never stand as an independent, and I'll never register my own party. You understand?
Okay.
If I am go to any party, I will consider it's either I stay home and remain a voter, but I'm not gonna go to any other party. Maybe I joined the DA, SA, blah, 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 just to give an example. I'm not, you need to understand that on your own. I'm not going to announce anything. People must just wait for me to
We are waiting.
People must be patient.
Okay.
You understand, man?
Yeah.
People must be patient with me. People must be patient with me. People must be patient, They will know when the time comes what I decided to do. But for now, I don't want to speak about now. It was just, you wanted to know about my resignation. And I think I've answered fairly enough. Just to indicate that I won't say I have been humiliated, painfully so, I've been humiliated, painfully so.
Yeah.
I want to, I cried, crying inside the meeting.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that day. It was on it was around February. I cried inside the meeting, in the detachment meeting with the National League. I cried, woman, Rila. I cried, and that was the day I said,
what did she say?
Yeah, I don't want people to twist it.
So it's best that you say it because people are gonna twist it.
You know what happened? I had a problem. Remember, I divorced last year. One way or other, I had a challenge of my finances due to divorce issue, which is now resolved. I no longer have the challenge. I want to clarify this.
Okay.
So, you know, when you're expressing a problem, the first people that will tell you is your colleague there.
Yes.
And say, Ash, you know what, my colleague here got a problem. Hey, because of this thing, I'm struggling to access funds for the past 3 months or 2 months. I have not paid my car. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or probably maybe my child must go to school and I don't have raising funds for now, but I will have money then. When. And then she gives you 7,000 rand to sort out the problem that you are having at hand.
Yeah. And
then now you get to a meeting, you disagree with the operation inside the meeting, say no, but you can't come to Mopani and want to do things in the region that I've deployed to. At least the least could have done was to come and consult me and say, Ponani, can we go and do this and this yet? Because we work as a collective.
Yes.
And she said in a meeting in front of the deployees, Ponani is only bitter because I didn't help her with the problem that she had. Even that she's not even grateful that I gave her 7,000. Inside the meeting.
That's bullying, Mos.
I'm not lying to you. Inside a meeting, inside the formal meeting.
Hey, Shaskis. Ish.
Even when I speak about this, I feel like crying.
Ish.
Inside a formal meeting, my brother.
So that's 7. Okay. So if you are desperate and you are in need, someone helps you. You must continue that loyalty and remember who feeds you.
Who feeds you, yes.
Ish. Once you start being an independent person, they remind you or wabakolo or tapilapi.
And then later my problem was resolved. And it was not resolved by them, the bigger problem.
Yeah.
And when the bigger problem was resolved, she went on and said, Ponani's problem was helped by the oppositions. That moment she does not even know what happened. I had a temporary setback. You understand?
Yeah.
But what hurts me is that this thing happened inside the formal meeting whereby Matlana and National Convener of the Place Popo and the Keke and Matilda were there. No one even said anything to her to say what you're saying is wrong. You can't say this in this meeting. That is wrong. I drove back home. When I drove back home, I was hurt. It was February. I wrote a letter to the convener of the police and all the deployees. I told them that I want to resign with immediate effect. I cannot be needed like this, and I feel worried. If me being given petrol to a meeting means worried, when we get to the meetings, I must say yes to everything, then that's what I will operate.
So, allow me to ask this. I have, in the past few weeks, you also made mention of it. Now I made mention of it because it worries me that we've got 2 great women in Advocate Wisim Kwebane and Mary Padi. And what pains me is it's as if they are pitted against each other by certain forces. So the biggest of them can win, of which there must be a compromise and have them sort their issue and so they can equally exist. Of course, I did not know that you are in problems and part of the problems is no one is intervening between you and another woman. Do you think you are this, I don't want to say MK women. MK women are made to fight so fingers could be pointed against them? Or do you think this is a plot to, there are people are happy to see you fight? Because this looks like it could have been resolved. I mean, you've been crying to the SG since December last year. It's 6 months down the line, and it's not only him. And your troubles are open to see because other people witnessed you being abused like that, and no one is intervening. And
No,
now,
what hurts, if there's one thing that people need to understand about me, I don't believe in politics of manipulations, favorism, and I said, Kore, that day I realized, Kore, I can't do this. I sent a letter. I have proof. I sent a letter. I'm not even sure if the letter was taken to the national leadership, but I sent to the deployees because you must communicate with the deployees. I kept quiet and I said, people will not understand it. There's nothing like a person undressing you in a formal meeting, And no one, I'm telling you, no one. That day, my brother, I went to the meeting coming from hospital, that is just getting discharged, would drive to a meeting. I cried tears. I cried tears, and everybody acted as if nothing happened. Nothing happened. I kept quiet. They said it's fine, it's okay, we can continue. But I was not aware, Kure, when you help your brother, it means, Kure, you want to manage them. I've assisted people. I've paid school fees for lots of children. Actually, I've got a charity organization. I've paid school fees for lots of children. I've paid people's cars. I've done this. I've saved my fellow comrades from public humiliation, and none of them will ever tell you, Ponani, have went out and said this to even one person.
Ponani, it's a very difficult story, and I want to close it.
I've helped people bury their loved ones. I've done lots of things, but you'll never ever hear it anywhere. People will just say to you, say, Ponani, when I'm a good person, there are lots of people who know me. And now I come to MK, and the former chairperson of the EFF, because she's from the EFF, she come to the meeting and say, when are you bitter because. And even that 7,000 that I have assisted you with, I have not even recovered it back.
Ish.
In a command meeting.
Yeah, no, Askis, are you still practicing? Is your Ndumba still active?
Yeah, even today in the morning, if you check on my social media page, I went out for helps. I came back around 11. When you called me that time and said my battery is low because I was outside. Yes, I'm full-time. I'm full-time a traditional healer. I'm enjoying being a traditional healer. It's a calling that will never leave me. If one thing that I'll never leave, it's compromising my calling. I do it. You remember, I've been a traditional healer even when I was in Parliament, but I was always there to work for the organization. I've always been there to work for the ANC then, so it doesn't anyhow affect my operation because the understanding between me and my assistant is that as long as I do what matters, I know what line must not be jumped or crossed, So even if you can say you are taking you to Dubai for 5 months to do this and this, I will still do it happily so and come back home and continue whenever I'm home.
Thank you. So in closing, there was a time, I think what's reminding me is the fact that you were in Parliament and you were practicing while you were in Parliament. I think most of us didn't know. We thought you started practicing when you left ANC politics. So there's a ritual that you performed at the river with the chicken. Do you want to explain what was that? Because people came into social media, they started saying, we as Africans are so afraid of our rituals that we only publicize ourselves when we do white people things like going to church and pray, but when we do our rituals, people are being embarrassed about it. And a lot of people came to your defense and they actually were proud that you actually filmed it. But I don't think most of us knew that you were, I'm including myself, you were already practicing at the time. Were you a traditional leader at the time? A traditional healer?
Yes, I was. Let me just give a background of myself. No? My late mother was a traditional healer. My late mother.
Yes.
Even when I was born, I was birthed by a traditional healer. Just to be specific, the name Ponani is a Tonga name meaning be saved. Is because my mother gave birth to me in a accident scene. What happened is that the taxi that was traveling in got an accident and some people died there and I was born. And the village where we are coming from, Kandana Nikakani, named me. My name was given to me by the village, not by my parents. That Ponani. I felt it's important for you to have that background.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, people will say when you openly practice a traditional practitioner, when you openly practice it, they say, no, those are sacred rituals. Let me tell you one thing. There's nothing sacred other than the things that are between you and your ancestors. Things that are between me and my ancestors, it's how I kneel down and communicate to them. Maybe probably because I'm also a Gobela. I've got lots of initiates under my name. I've initiated lots of people. You go to my social media page, you'll see lots of videos of Chaso ceremonies, Parula ceremonies. You understand?
Yeah.
It's like people will want to try to treat, how our late parents, forefathers were made to hide who they are. Because if people know that you are a traditional healer, they will say you're a witch doctor. Those kind of things. Being a healer is not being a witch. You're using just your natural gift, using herbs, natural treatment.
Yes.
Now, I want to speak direct to them. Issue of the chicken.
Yeah, baku our lawyer. Lawyer ANC.
It's funny. It's very fun. Let me tell you that video. I can even show it to you. I can say I have your numbers. I'll send you a WhatsApp. You will see who filled it.
Yeah. Please, maybe send us that video in full so we can see, because we only have the one on Twitter.
Yeah, I want to send to you that video. It's unfortunate because it will show people that probably they didn't want to be seen. You'll see how we hide our faces.
Okay.
Because remember, I protect my initiates. There are some people who are still afraid of coming out that they are healers.
Okay.
Because they don't want to be judged. So normally I will not show videos of my initiates, but people know that because I need people come and attend interaction. But I always upload interaction ceremonies. People will see it. The public is aware who's in my natural and stuff.
Yeah.
That video, the day I took it, I was going to. I still have it. I just want to give you even a date. I was preparing for interaction ceremony of my initiates. It was due to take place on that weekend.
Yes.
So what I do, I carry water spirits myself.
Okay.
And these water spirits, people don't understand what are water spirits. It's when you've got an ancestor who is either died in water or was thrown in water. Remember a long time ago, people would be killed and they thrown into the rivers and stuff.
Yes.
So that's how a person get a water spirit. It's not everyone who has a water spirit.
Oh, okay.
So, Mina, I've got that spirit, water spirit. So, my indumba, it's actually, I'm having in-laws lani, it's a Swati person. People doesn't know what is the difference between bloodline ancestors and in-laws and munda and balemati and
yeah.
My in-laws is a Swati soldier who died in a war. I'm not even blood related to that person. He only revealed himself into my dreams. How you get this spirit in, like you've got a foreign influence spirit in you. For example, if a soldier now will also understand me better. Maybe you pass in a place whereby someone died.
Yes.
You understand? A stranger died.
Wow, that was a long one. Let's see. I just wanted to close it very carefully with Ponani. It's the second time it cuts us. Even my battery has run out.
When you pass in a place, when you pass in a place where someone died,
yeah,
and that person, the spirit of that person admire your spirit.
Yes.
And it's in you. I'm talking about Indus love.
Yes.
And it Indus love. So, Indus love is umangoba. Is a Swati. That's why I frequent Swaziland.
Okay.
It showed me where the places where he used to pass, how we used to go, wherever. So I know even when I go, this is where I'm going. I can just go from here, drive to Swaziland, just go and go and get the soil of where they used to stay. You know, those kind of things.
Yes.
So that is number one. Number two, I have Umundao. Umundawami is from Mozambique. It's not related to me. Then I've got the bloodline ancestors. Bloodline ancestors, it's your blood ancestors.
Yes.
I have them. I'm not going to mention who and who because put this thing they fight for it as if it's a kingship families. So it's one of those things. And then I've got water spirits. My water spirits are also my blood related, my blood relatives, my blood ancestors, the water spirits that are in me. Now, when I appease the water spirits, I go to the river. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying to you. Yeah,
no, I understand. I understand why that ritual had to be in the water.
It has to be in the water. I'm appeasing them. And people, let me tell people, think when you go to Ilwande, there's nothing that you can do to Ilwande. Ilwande has nothing to do with ancestral things. Actually, a good ancestor will tell you you must not even go to Ilwande to say you're going to wash Amabad and stuff. You're actually going to carry them. So in a river, remember a river flows.
Yes.
So the river connects provinces and connect countries, right? Countries. So when you do that ritual in the river, you are actually cleaning yourself and connecting with your ancestors whose breath was ended up in the water, because you don't even know for sure which river.
Yeah.
But remember, in most cases, when you kill people, they don't throw them inside a dam. You know that, Anirne?
Yeah, because the dam is stagnant.
They take them to the river. They say a body of someone was found. Yeah.
Ponan?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a bit down.
No, it's fine. They'll say a body of someone was found in Mozambique, but that person seems as if he came from Limpopo. You know, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Ne? So I use the river because the river flows to connect you to all the relatives and whoever who are across the world. You know, those kind of things.
Yes.
So I use money, the coins, because coins you cannot use it when you only use the brown money when you want bad things. You understand?
Oh.
A coin, you understand?
Okay.
And then I don't use knife. Even now I can tell you I don't know how to kill a chicken with a knife. I don't use knife to kill something that you want to give to your ancestors. You use your own teeth. So on that day, I'll send you the days, you'll see it yourself. I was with my Amatrasan Yame, they were 5, you'll even see them. There were 5. Anirne.
Yeah.
The other one is a child. You'll even see the thing, the video. And this video, don't send it out.
Yeah.
I'll even show you the date in which it was taken. Anirne.
Yes.
It was taken in College Chaban municipality on the 16th of July 2023. 16th of July 2023, we were not even preparing for any elections. Elections were last year. Now I've taken a screenshot where you see. So this video was taken for me by my own amateur son, who were actually graduating the following on the very same weekend or week.
Yes.
So before ngithwasisa abantu, I first take them to the river because that's where I connected to my water spirit. Remember, when uthwasisa abantu, you are not awubathwasisi with your physical power, but with the spirit. So the spirit that I use is the spirit of Mundau, the spirit of in-laws, the spirit of my blood ancestors, and the spirit of my water spirit. I'm not sure if I'm saying to you.
No. I think you might not know, but I will tell you offline. Your story is very similar to someone that I know very well. Someone that is also MK. Is part of the Abalapi Bendabugo in MK. That person told me. I've covered a lot of traditional ceremonies and Inyangas in particular with MK. So I listened to a lot of their stories. Sounds very similar to what you are telling me. That's why I'm attentively listening, because I know they will relate to what you are telling me.
So I was not alone. How can I be going there or while I'm with Amatrasaniam?
Yeah.
How can I do now? As I'm speaking to you, because I keep these videos, so people didn't understand. And remember that video was not leaked. That's one thing that people don't understand. It was not leaked. I uploaded it.
This is what one of the things people were defending you on. They were saying, no, you guys go to your churches, your pastors put hands on you, Bushiri puts hands to say, when Anna Lady Chirwa, you'll go to parliament, and then the video goes. But whenever some African person does the African thing, of all things you want to accuse them of witchcraft, why would they share that? But I understand the story, and I'm glad you unpacked it for me. And maybe it will be used as a reference in the future to say, don't vilify our African people when they practice their own culture.
Because if you check now, I've sent you a video of the 16th, and I said to you, I had the ceremony on the same weekend. So the weekend was the 23rd of July. Check your WhatsApp, you'll see there's a video of the same people that you will see with me in the river, and the video of them outside my home. You see my home, and you also see my white and pal that day.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I think I'll share that other video, the original video.
Yes.
Yeah, because on that video there are no people there. It's you in the.
You can say you share the original video, and you can the other one you just cut you hide the names, you make it a picture, but shows the date on which of the date that it was taken.
Thank you very much, Ponani, for the time. Thank you for taking our call during this difficult time of your political life. I know severing ties with a political party as a political animal is not as easy, but thank you for giving us the time to explain the whole chapter of your political career, how and why you left, and of course your spiritual journey. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's fine, my brother, and thank you so much for giving me your time and for considering taking me and wanting to get things from my side. I'm
still crossing fingers like I've been since last year to get you to the studio.
You'll be the first to know. I don't betray people. Those who give me time when it's not good, I'll also give them time. I'll also feed them with the great news once I've decided.
Thank you very much. And you must, whenever you are in Gauteng, please, man, come to the studio and teach us more.
No, I'll do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ponani. Bye.
Bye.
That's Ponani Makhubele. It's been a long one, and apologies. I don't want to cut people because I don't want when the interview is done, people say, and I wanted to say this, Mashiane unkatile, and this is why it was long. It was just meant to be a 15 minutes thing so they can explain themselves, but she was kind enough to share with us the whole story. All the cuts and breaks, apologies, this is what happens with, it's not reality TV, but this is what happens with podcasting. Well, I thought at the end I will speak some more just to put it cover, but you had the problem between abantu bokufika, the mafikizolos and stuff, and the balance of, as a lot of MK people, even members of parliament, as Tlongubani would tell you, the balance, how are they going to strike a balance between differing views and managing expectations? People who are in, people who've got experience, those who don't have experience, and who is a spy. She was removed because they said she was a spy. She said she was not recruited by Penny Penny. Let me leave it at that. Ponani Makhubele has promised me since last year to come to the studio. I'm still crossing fingers that he would come. Maybe he will clarify his side, if indeed he said she was a spy, or if he thought she would be, or if he thought she was not, or if he was jealous of her being introduced to Jacob Zuma. But Mashiane Politicallyincorrect. Let's leave it at that. It's been a long one. Itada.